Welcome to Gist Dish TV, your ultimate gist corner. Before we dive into this matter with this up, I beg do well hit that subscription button so you no go miss any of the exclusive stories where they drop here back to back. Make yourself comfortable, relax your mind, because this gist, it get as it be. Yesterday night, while most people were busy scrolling endlessly, replying late messages, sleeping halfway with phone for hand, or simply minding their own business, two familiar Nollywood names quietly stepped into a high-end restaurant in Lagos, and unknowingly stepped straight into the center of a storm that nobody saw coming. Bryan Okwara. Sonia Uche. No cameras. No entourage. No loud greetings. No dramatic entrance. Just silence, dim lights, and a table tucked far away from curious eyes. At least, that was the plan. According to sources close to the restaurant, people who have seen many celebrities come and go without drama, this dinner was different from the start. It wasn't announced. It wasn't posted. It wasn't hinted at. No Instagram stories. No soft launch. No background music video clips. Nothing. Bryan arrived first. Dressed down, but intentional. Dark outfit. No flashy accessories. Calm posture. The kind of calm that doesn't beg for attention but still commands it. He didn't scan the room nervously. He didn't check his phone obsessively. He sat like someone who knew exactly who he was waiting for and exactly why. Minutes later, Sonia walked in. Not rushed. Not hiding. Not smiling for anybody. Just focused. The moment she entered, the energy shifted. Even those who didn't recognize her immediately felt it. Staff noticed. A few diners paused mid-conversation. Phone stayed down, but eyes followed her steps. She didn't look around nervously. She didn't pretend not to notice anyone. She walked straight to Bryan's table like someone who already knew exactly where she was going and who she was there to see. They exchanged a quiet greeting. No hug that could raise eyebrows. No awkward distance either. Just familiarity. And that alone was enough to start questions. Because if there's one thing the internet, and Lagos especially, knows how to do, it's connect dots that were never drawn publicly. They sat across each other. The conversation started low. Serious. Calm. No laughter at first. No phones on the table. Drinks untouched for several minutes. Those close enough could tell this wasn't small talk. This wasn't a random meetup. This wasn't industry catching up. This wasn't script talk or movie pitch banter. This felt deliberate. As minutes passed, the seriousness softened. Sonia leaned back slightly. Bryan's shoulders relaxed. The tension in the air didn't disappear, it transformed. A quiet laugh escaped Sonia at some point. The kind of laugh you give when you finally exhale. When something heavy has been said. When you feel safe enough to let your guard down, even in a public place. And that's where things became interesting. Because Bryan leaned in. Not aggressively. Not flirtatiously in a loud way. Just close enough to say something only she could hear. Sonia paused. Looked at him. Held eye contact longer than necessary. The kind of eye contact that carries memory. History. Things that don't need to be explained. Then she nodded slowly. If you've ever watched two people who share unspoken history, you know that moment. The pauses. The silence that speaks louder than words. The way nothing needs to be explained out loud. They ordered food. Ate slowly. No rushing. No distractions. Bryan gestured with his hands as he talked. Sonia listened, chin resting lightly on her hand, eyes fixed on him, not wondering, not bored. This wasn't a dinner of convenience. This was intentional time. By the time dessert arrived, something had clearly shifted. The emotional distance across the table had closed. Their voices dropped even lower. The laughs became easier. There was comfort. And comfort is dangerous gossip. Because Bryan Okwara is not a man who moves carelessly. And Sonia Uche is not a woman who entertains speculation lightly. Both are fully aware of how fast narratives can spiral. Both understand how one blurry photo can turn into 10 blogs, 20 opinions, and 1,000 assumptions. So why meet secretly? Why not daylight? Why not a public restaurant everyone knows? Why not clear the air before speculation even starts? That's the question many people woke up asking. By morning, the whispers had already begun. Some insiders claimed the dinner was intentionally private because the conversation was deeply personal. Not business. Not scripts. Not future projects. Personal. The kind of conversation you don't want ears around. The kind you say for someone you trust. Someone who understands you beyond the public image. Others believe the secrecy itself was the message. That this wasn't about hiding, but about protecting something still fragile. Something not ready for public consumption. Something still being understood between two people before the world gets invited in. And then there are those who insist this has been brewing quietly for a while. That this wasn't their first private conversation. Just the first one that accidentally slipped into public awareness. What's interesting is what didn't happen. No hand-holding. No overt affection. No dramatic exit together. When they were done, Bryan stood first. Pulled her chair back gently. Sonia thanked the staff softly. They walked out separately, not side by side, but close enough to say, "We are aware of eyes." Calculated. Controlled. Intentional. And yet, the damage was already done. Because once people started talking, interpretations multiplied. Some said Sonia looked lighter. Less guarded. Like someone who had finally said something she'd been holding in for a long time. Others said Bryan looked relieved, like a man who had finally been heard. As the day went on, fan reactions split into clear camps. Some people immediately began shipping. Some warned against assumptions. Others accused bloggers of forcing narratives where none exist. A few demanded explanations like clarity was owed to them. But here's the truth people don't like to hear: not everything is for public consumption. Sometimes, two people can sit across from each other, share a meal, share words, share understanding, and that moment belongs only to them. Still, secrecy always invites curiosity. And curiosity never rests. Industry insiders also noticed something else, something subtle but telling. Neither Bryan nor Sonia made any attempt to counter the whispers. No denial. No vague post. No cryptic quote. No "focus on yourself" caption. Just silence. And in this industry, silence is loud. By afternoon, whispers had become conversations. Conversations became debates. Debates became conclusions, even without facts. Was this a new beginning? A reconnection? A conversation long overdue? Or simply two adults choosing peace and understanding away from noise? No confirmations. No denials. Just silence. And sometimes, silence says more than words ever could. So until either Bryan or Sonia chooses to speak or post, the internet will keep guessing. And Gist Dish TV will keep watching. Because whether this was love, closure, friendship, or something still unnamed, one thing is clear. That dinner was not ordinary. That silence was intentional. And that story, it's not finished. Before you drop your phone, I beg no forget to hit that subscription button, turn on your notification bell, and stay locked in. Because the moment this gist takes another turn, and trust us, it can, you'll hear it here first. So tell us. Was it just dinner? Or the beginning of something deeper? Talk to us in the comments. Gist Dish TV they watch.